Questions orales, oral questions. The Honourable Official Opposition Deputy Leader.
Madam Speaker, the Governor of the Bank of Canada has confirmed if the Liberals' deficit was lower, inflation would have been lower today. The enormous deficit is going to cost each and every Canadian an extra $3,500. Less money for food, less money for gas, less money to heat their homes. When will the Liberals understand that their failed policies and enormous deficits are causing continuous pain on Canadians?
L'Honorable Ministre.
Madam Speaker, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We have the lowest deficit and the lowest debt among all countries in the G7. But of course, these are challenging times. We see that global inflation and the global economic instability is affecting Canadians, and that's why we've put forward a solid and responsible plan to help them. This morning, as I do every morning, and as members of this government do all of the time, I check the numbers, and the new labour force survey came out, Madam Speaker. Over 50,000 full-time jobs were created in November alone in this country, and wages have continued.
The Honourable Official Opposition Deputy Leader.
Madam Speaker, the Liberals will blame everyone else for their own inflationary problem. Even future possible Liberal leadership candidate Mark Carney said that the problem was domestically created. This member is proud that her government's spending sent 1.5 million Canadians into a food bank in a single month, that 1 in 5 Canadians have to skip lunch. How many more families have to go into food banks? How many more families have to skip meals before they finally get a grip, get their spending under control, and axe their carbon tax?
Yeah. L'Honorable Secrétaire parlementaire du ministre du Tourisme et ministre associé des Finances.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to correct the record. It is obvious to all Canadians that the world is going through a period of huge instability due to the war commenced by Russia, due to a global pandemic that we have just come out of. But, Madam Speaker, we are there for Canadians in order to continue to support them. We just don't understand why the Conservatives aren't. They voted against lowering taxes on middle-class Canadians on 2 separate occasions, Madam Speaker. It is this Liberal government that is there for Canadians, and Canadians know that.
The Official Opposition Deputy Leader.
Madam Speaker, again, it's clear from the members' answers that they don't understand the pain that they're causing on Canadians. Even the Governor of the Bank of Canada said that the inflation in Canada today is a homegrown problem. That means it's a Liberal-created issue. This government spent $110 billion before the pandemic started. They spent $500 billion during the pandemic, 40% of which had nothing to do with COVID measures. Their reckless spending is costing Canadians more and more. Less food, less gas, less groceries for Canadians. When will they stop?
Yeah. L'Honorable Secrétaire parlementaire du Premier ministre et de la Présidente du Conseil du Trésor.
Madam Speaker, on this side of the House, and I dare say most parliamentarians understand how tough these times are for Canadians. And that's the reason why most parliamentarians have supported, and especially these great government programs such as the Canada Child Benefit, such as the Canada Dental Benefit, such as the Canada's Workers Benefit, are there to help Canadians in these tough times. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, the official opposition has chosen to vote at every opportunity against these important programs which come to the aid of Canadians.
The honourable member for Mégantic l'Érable. The government has made a lot of announcements, but we're getting more and more calls from constituents who are struggling to make ends meet. And the majority of them are middle-class workers and those working hard to join it. They don't qualify for government announcements because they make too much money, but inflation, the rising cost of living, and skyrocketing interest rates don't spare them one bit. When will the Liberals finally understand the best way to help everyone is to stop raising taxes? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Madam Speaker, for years now, our government has been concerned about Canadians' situation and workers and families, and that's why we introduced the Canada Child Benefit. That's why we have the Workers' Benefit. which will truly help people who are working hard and all they need is a little help. But one thing is for sure, Madam Speaker, in Canada we now have a program to help people with childcare, and the Conservatives voted against it. We cut the costs in half, the honourable member. Madam Speaker, inflation in Canada is around 7%. The average credit card balance is at a high of around $2,000, and credit card interest is at around 21%. Add to that the cost of heating, gas, food, and rent, and the middle class is at the breaking point. What's the Liberal solution? Raise taxes on paychecks and triple the carbon tax. On behalf of the middle class and those who can no longer afford to join it, will the Liberals stop raising taxes? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Tourism.
Madame la Présidente.
Madam Speaker, I'm always a bit gobsmacked that members from Quebec stand up, and they must know that the price on pollution doesn't apply in Quebec. But we have a responsible and sound plan to help Canadians who are struggling to make ends meet, unlike the Conservatives who have no plan whatsoever. Their plan is to abandon the fight against climate change and to go after our seniors' pensions. The Honourable Member for Saint-Jean. Madam Speaker, StatsCan shows that French is in decline in the workplace in Quebec. 1 in 5 Quebecers can't